Hi, it's Ricky of Moshville Times here once again, and now tonight I'm delighted to be joined by Essex doom stoner metal band Goat Monsoon. There's a lot going on in there, isn't there? So tonight we've got guitarist Charlie, and we've also got Evil Stu on bass. So how are you guys doing? Have you been okay through all this COVID nonsense? You haven't had the dreaded Rona?
We have, yeah.
We done it at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Both me and Charlie, I think we tested positive on the same day. We just done a gig in Stoke-on-Trent, and right. Yeah, on the Sunday, yeah, we both had it.
I was actually going to ask about that gig later on because I noticed that you just played it like a couple of weeks ago. So, was the gig worth it?
It was a long drive.
Yeah,
some great bands, great venue. The people there were really cool. Possibly not as full as we were kind of expecting, but it was a good show. We did well. Everybody was great. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, we had fun anyway.
Good stuff. I'm just after actually interviewing another Essex band a couple of weeks ago, White Raven Down.
Okay, yeah,
I just interviewed them as well. So there must be a good scene on in Essex or something then. There must be a good scene. But it's anyway,
right,
yeah. So over 2 years ago, then you released that album Alpha Kings, or the EP, sorry, Alpha Kings. I imagine you guys have been busy writing new material, or have you been concentrating? Well, have you been busy writing? It must be like you must have some ideas thrown about.
Yeah, we wrote a few new tracks recently, but obviously when COVID we were allowed to go out and gig again. That's kind of what we made the priority to do. But yeah, we wrote a couple of new tracks and we're hoping to record them down soon. So yeah, we haven't written loads, but there's about 3.
Because I noticed you guys have been together, what, 7 or 8 years?
This will be our 10th year.
A 10th year? Yeah. There you go. And I was thinking, you haven't recorded an album yet. So are you concentrating on writing a debut album, or is it going to be like another EP? What are you thinking?
Probably another EP.
Yeah, be another EP. It's kind of more financially viable for us to do something like that. It is easier to, and yeah, I think that's as far as we go at this point. But yeah, I'd love to do a full album. But
I take it you've discussed it all. It's just like you say, it's just the financial aspect, but it has come up in conversation. Or is it just because you're quite slow songwriters?
Yeah, there's that.
That's all.
It's like saying writing new material. We have written new material, but the word you use, busy, possibly doesn't apply. We've written some new material.
So you played a gig a couple of weeks ago then. Did you play some of the new material at the gig? And if so, how did it go down?
There's been some new songs in the set for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And it's just getting around to recording them. Once we're happy with a new song, we kind of slowly feed it into the set and see how it goes. And but it's tricky with set lists because some of our songs are quite long, so we have to kind of alter stuff to put them in.
So what are you thinking, like a 4-song EP or like 3 songs and 2 live tracks or something as a bonus?
We could do possibly 4 songs. Just see what happens. I mean, we're down for recording. Is it in June, Charlie? Sometime
middle of June.
Yeah,
middle to end of June.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. See what we can sort of come up with the time and all that.
Well, I was going to bring it up later on, but I may as well bring it up just now. As you can see behind me, I've got like Moshville Radio. So this is a new venture that we've done. In fact, in June, it'll be a year old. So once you've got your songs ready, send us an MP3 of a song you want promoted, and we'll certainly play it on the radio as well. We'll put it on our playlists as well. We've got DJs that do everything from indie to extreme metal, which I kind of do. So it'll more or less guaranteed to be played. So live as well as on the playlist. So certainly send it to us anyway. Okay.
Yeah, will do. It's a weird thing having done the Alpha Kings EP a couple of years ago now. To us, it's old. So to kind of promote it is a bit strange. So we've sort of forgotten that we'd done that, and then the world kind of went a bit mad for a couple of years.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much for that. So for those that are eagerly awaiting the new material, then how would you say it compares to Alpha Kings? And do you think you've found the sound that you've been looking for within your songs?
They're kind of it's slightly different. We've gone for like one song's kind of like a stonery kind of song, isn't it? It's like a stoner vibe, and and then we've got more of like a groovy kind of thing going on. So this kind of, it's got our flavour to it, definitely. But we just all listen to different stuff. So just whoever tends to write at that point. I think I wrote one of the songs, and then Ben came in and we rehearsed it, and then he wrote the middle eight, and then got a different vibe from it. And yeah, we never know what's going to come out, do we, really?
Is Stu bringing in his glam metal influences?
Yeah, that's what happened to my hair. It was all a hairspray back in the day. I don't know. I kind of, my influences are kind of like punk, new wave kind of stuff. Yeah, we all kind of put stuff in, and we don't do anything unless we're all cool with it. So it kind of gets filtered through, and at the end we're all happy with what we've come up with, and that's loads of influences from all of us, all just put in there, and tweaked slightly, you know.
So all the songs are ready for the EP, then it's just a case for them all to be recorded,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think we want to write something else for it, don't we?
Yeah, there's one more track that I've got some ideas for that we want to add to it, just so that we can make it up to, I think, 4. But we've definitely got 3 100% written and ready.
Cool. So Stu, is Charlie the type of guitarist that would send you a riff at 4 o'clock in the morning saying this is the best guitar riff I've ever written, by the way?
Yeah, she does do that, actually.
I have done that.
Probably not 4 in the morning, but there'll be multiple videos sent. I think we've all been guilty of doing it, and you tend to just go cool and then forget about it.
That's cool. So with the last 18 months in and the lockdowns and things like that, how did you keep the band rolling? How did you communicate your ideas to each other? Did you look at things like online technology, or do you all, I don't know, did you meet up in somebody's garden after 6 months or something like that? Or how did you communicate your ideas to each other?
We didn't see each other a lot at all in that time. We kind of did some of the technology thing, and then we looked at it and then we went, and just went back to our everyday lives. But you know, some of it we're able to do and some of it not, you know. We got some videos out. Once the pandemic hit, I sort of constructed an EP of our Bloodstock set, which was kind of an easy thing to do, but for people that like live kind of albums and EPs, that was pretty successful for us. So anyone that didn't see us at Bloodstock can kind of listen to how it went down, and it came out pretty good.
I take it you had a bloody good time there as well.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
Cool. So again, for the last 18 months then, did it make you look at the more business side of the band? Like, did you take on roles that you don't normally do, like the marketing and the merch and keeping the band name out there? And you just gave like an indication there with the EP as well. But how did you keep the name Goat Monsoon out there?
I think me and Charlie are pretty good at the promo stuff, aren't we?
Okay.
We do quite a bit, don't we, between us?
Yeah.
We
do it all mostly.
Yeah. We talk a lot between ourselves and just work out what we're going to do.
That's why it's just us here.
So yeah, we kind of updated the Bandcamp page. We got some more t-shirts made, got some hats made. We just kind of gave that sort of like an update. I'm always on social media. I love meeting people, talking to people. I'm always networking all the time. And Stu's the same.
I need to get a few lessons off yourself then. I hate it. Well, I don't hate it. It's just I don't know how to do it, you know. But yeah, no, that's absolutely cool. But that must have been like quite financially draining as well, because obviously a main source of income is gigging and selling your EPs at gigs and selling shirts at gigs and stuff like that. So you didn't have any of that. So to still put up new merch and all the rest of it, it must have been pulling the purse strings a wee bit.
Yeah, it was. We're pretty good with money. So as a band, like, we'll always sort of save money, and then we sort of squirrel it away. And then when we need it, like for the recording, we're going to use it for that. But yeah, we just keep it, like, sometimes you kind of just have to cover the costs and then hopefully, you know, get it back at some point. But it's just a labour of love, isn't it, really?
That's it. You've got to do it for the passion, don't you?
During lockdown, we sold quite a bit of merch. There was a t-shirt design of us that sold out really, really quickly. So that kept us going, kept the name out there. Me and Charlie are always tinkering about with Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So
yeah,
we don't let a few days go past without reminding people.
Good stuff, good stuff. So with the recording of Alpha Kings then, will there be anything that you'll do differently that you'll take forward going on to this recording that you're going to be doing?
Yeah,
Anything
definitely. We're not going to record all in one day, which was really hard. We're doing it. We're planning to do it over 2 days, but if it takes longer, then we'll go back and do it some more. We're using a different producer this time as well.
Okay.
And we're just going to sort of get to know him a bit more, and he wants to come to our practices and get what we're like live, and maybe we might record it live, but we're going to go pretty much off what he thinks we should do. Because he's kind of a genius at that. So we're just going to go with it, really. But yeah, different producer this time.
So where are you going to record it then?
We are going to record at Bombstore Studios near Thetford with Dave Vickers of A Horse Called War. And he's so easy to work with. He's recorded a lot of our friends' bands recently, and I've heard snippets, and it's absolutely amazing. So I'm so excited. I've worked with him a little bit before, and I just can't wait for the guys to meet him, because he's just so great.
Thanks very much, Charlie. What about yourself, Stu? Is there anything that you learned from Alpha Kings that you would like to change with this one?
I think Alpha Kings, to me, I love the tracks that are on it, and I think as an EP it sounds really good. It might be slightly too overtly metal for my tastes.
Okay.
I think with the new EP, I'd kind of like a bit of a filthier sound, more to what we like live, just a kind of dirtier kind of sound to it. I think it was, I don't want to say the word overproduced, but it might have been slightly overproduced.
That cleared that up. No, cool, thanks. So with the band being fairly settled in the band members front end for a good number of years now, when constructing new material and with the band members having their own personal taste in music, how would you say that you keep it all together, like when negotiating what stays in and what goes out of a song? I mean, is it Stu that goes in the huff? Is he the huffy one all the time, or do you do a vote? How does it work?
So that's true.
Anything we come up with, it never ends up as a finished song unless we're all cool with it.
Okay.
Which I think is why it takes us quite a long time to come up with anything. But it all gets put through the kind of Goat Monsoon thing, and and unless we're cool with it, no one's going to hear it. You know? I think I remember one of the new songs that we were doing. I think Charlie had a go at me for putting a note in it that was too happy.
Yes, you're definitely too happy.
Yeah. So I took it out. There you go.
And depressed it up a bit.
Yeah, and the song is in the light of day.
So Charlie's the picky one then. Yeah. So what about yourself, Charlie? Like, how does it work? Is it yourself that generates the riff and then the song's based around that, or how are the songs constructed?
Yeah, normally, I mean, I think it's just because it's easier with guitar. I mean, Stu does come to practice with, bass lines and stuff, but it is really hard sometimes to try and get the feel. But me and Ben, we'll write a riff at home, and then we'll bring it to the practice and we'll say, oh, we've got this. Like the last one I'd pretty much written at home, but I didn't really know how to construct it. So I brought it to the practice, and then we jammed it a few times, and then Ben brought in the middle eight, like I said, and it kind of all brought it together. Yeah. But a lot of the time I'll just write stuff and I'll send it out to people that I know that play music and get them to tell me what they think. And I've got a lot of really honest friends. So there's a lot of stuff that doesn't ever get shown to anyone. But yeah, it's normally just like at home. I write stuff in a little lady lair that I have. It's got my guitars in it and my amps and stuff, and then bring it to practice.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, during COVID and stuff like that, it's quite easy for you to just keep on practicing, pick up the guitar and stuff like that, or were you actually getting fed up and you just, I just want away from music for a wee while and just put the guitar down, or did you actually write more?
I think you need a band vibe sometimes, don't you? Just to get it sort of, clear what you want to do with it. I come up with stuff all the time, but it's easy to throw away stuff when there's no one else, you know, around to kind of play it to or with. So yeah, it's weird. And being a bass player, coming up with bass riffs by yourself is a bit, you know, can be a bit pointless sometimes, you know, because they all kind of sound like doom, doom, like that, you know.
No, good stuff. Thank you very much. Actually, talking about the vocalist, then I was going to ask Mike how he would have kept his vocals in check, but he's not here. He's too camera shy. But with Mike being
I think shy is a thing you can level up, Mike.
Yeah, I kind of, when I looked up a couple of videos of yourself, he's quite extrovert. So with Mike being the vocalist of the band, then does he take care of all the lyrics for Alpha Kings, or were there contributions from other members of the band? Do you guys throw in your tuppence worth as well?
Yeah, I've written a few lyrics, and Michael take little bits from it and use them in titles and things like that. With the Alpha Kings, I think because that was originally recorded with our first singer, he had a lot to do with the writing of the lyrics for that one. And then I think when he left and then Mike came in, he kind of sort of rejiggled them about a bit. But I think there's a lot of the original lyrics in there as well. But he normally just like, we'll play the riffs and then he'll come up with stuff over the top, and then just add it in and just listen and let us play it a few times, and then it comes up with stuff.
Yeah. Is it quite tricky sometimes? Like you said that you wrote some lyrics, and when you write the lyrics, you see how Mike's going to sing this, but is it quite difficult sometimes for you to convey that to him?
Yeah, he could write, because I've got piles of lyric books, because I used to be really into lyric writing, even though I can't sing. I used to write a lot for my other band, and I'll give them to him, and I know that he'll get something out of it different to what the meaning behind what I wrote, because it's really quite personal, but he'll take something from that and then he'll tell me what he got from it, which is quite cool, because it means that you know, he's transcended just what I thought about it, really. So it's nice to know that he can get something from it as well. Cool. I'm not precious. I let him take them. I don't mind.
As long as you get the thing beside the song title co-written by, you know. So as long as you get my publisher credit. What about yourself, Stu? Do you throw a couple of things in, or do you just leave it to those guys?
Lyrics, no, can't do it. Yeah, if I were to write a song, it would literally go something like, I was on the bus the other day, you know, something like that. Yeah, no.
I can see why you leave them out, Charlie, to be fair.
Yeah. So I think our fourth track on the EP might be something about being on a bus or something. Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a talent, you know. It's something that I couldn't do. So to have that pressure taken away from you, it must be quite pleasing, because it's certainly something that I couldn't do. So full credit where it's due. But as it's been a difficult 18 months for bands not playing any gigs, did you actually think of doing something? I saw some bands doing like a virtual gig, or whether it was like in the rehearsal room and putting up a couple of cameras and things like that. Did you ever think of doing something like Facebook Live, 20-minute set or something like that, just to keep the name out there?
We kind of just did, all we did like that was we kind of did a lyric. Was it a lyric video, or did we just, I think we did one where we was literally in our lounges and we all just did like little snippets of this one song and then linked it all together. And you did that, didn't you, Stu? You did all the production.
I think both the Alpha Kings videos and Crazy We Fall were all done during lockdown. And with the Crazy We Fall one, we all just filmed ourselves playing along to the track, and then it was all edited together, and it actually came out really cool. And there was a rehearsal, I think, which we filmed, and we kind of did a live thing of us playing a couple of tracks, and quite a few people watched it and reacted to it. And as we were thinking about doing more like that, things were opening up with COVID and stuff, so we never really got around to it.
Yeah, it must have been funny though when you were in your rehearsal space and stuff like that after not seeing each other for so long. You're like, who are you? What instrument is it you play again?
Yeah. So I always do the thing where when I turn up, I just point everybody and go, Matt, is it?
Yeah. So now that the world's beginning to open up again, you've played gigs recently. How did they go? And do you have plans for more gigs in the future then? Or are you just concentrating on the EP recording at the moment?
We love playing gigs, really. Yeah.
Yeah, we've played a few, haven't we? We've done our friends put on a festival in London, and they kindly asked us to come down, the Masters of Riff Festival.
There you go.
And they asked us to come down for that. And it was fantastic. It was 3 days of just brutal bands like sludge, doom, just a mix of everything. And our friends in Old Haunted, they're so great, and they really support us, and they always have us down. They've got us down at the Dev as well, which was great. And just gave us a really amazing opportunity to play to a wider audience. So we've been really lucky.
So you said it's a 3-day festival, and it was like sludge, stoner, and doom, things like that. Were you worried about sounding the same as other bands? Like a lot of people are like sounding the same.
It was really diverse, actually. I think the night we played, it was like the party night, so it had all like the upbeat kind of bands, and then from then on it just got more disgusting and more nasty and just brutal as the weekend went on. But they had just a real mix of different types of that sort of real heavy underground sound. And I had such a good time. I was like 3 days in and I was just wrecked by the end of it, but it was so good, and it was really busy. And yeah, it was fantastic. I'd love to do it again.
Yeah. Have you just played Newcastle as well? Did I read that?
Newcastle under Lyme.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, for the Smoke on Trent, and once again that was full of great bands. And that was there are a few of those bands that I think were on the Master of the Riff Festival as well, like Master Charger and King Kraken. And we don't sound like those bands, so we tend to stick out. Even though we've got quite a sludgy sound, we're quite up tempo, so we tend to make a bit of an impression when we're on certain bills, mainly because we can't play really slowly. I can't play really slowly anyway.
So the tracks on the EP will be 5 minutes long, but when you play them live, they're 4 minutes long.
Yeah, that's
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, like I say, you've got the recording in June. Then, have you still got gigs planned up, or are you just concentrating that, or have you got gigs towards the end of the year, or are you just taking a lull at the moment?
They're coming through. Some of the gigs. I mean, we've done quite a few gigs this year already.
Yeah.
And the gigs are coming through. We tend to get offers pretty much every week to play something. And we just have to try and sort out whether we're all able to do it, because we all have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So we're getting some stuff coming in. So towards the later end of the year, there's some bits there. We want some stuff for the summer though.
Yeah.
Some more festivals would be good.
Yeah, Bloodstock would be nice.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. But the unfortunate thing for you guys is that you're pretty much on the arse end of the you're on the arse end of the country, so if you want to play a gig, it's going to involve quite a bit of travel. So what about venturing further north? There is this country called Scotland or something.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
I've got my tartan on already. Look.
Yes,
I noticed. So what about Scotland? Have you actually played up here?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
We'll consider anything. If we can sort it out as a band, we'll go anywhere. Yeah.
Well, your brothers in Essex, White Raven Down, they were all up for coming up to Glasgow, Edinburgh, and even places like Aberdeen. I know Aberdeen's like the other end of the country for you, but they're screaming for gigs, because the only only places that bands play in Scotland are like Glasgow and Edinburgh. So when you go up to Aberdeen, you will get a crowd. And I say that to every band, like Inverness as well. You wouldn't think it, but Inverness as well. So Scotland does have a good scene. You've got Dundee and Perth as well. So yeah, if you're going to be doing like a UK tour or something like that, keep it in consideration. I can get you in touch with a couple of people as well. So
I spent a week in Scotland last year and had such a great time. And it was mostly we're at Aberdeen. Edinburgh we stayed at, went to the Highlands. We did Loch We went to Alistair Crowley's house. It it was kind of a weird little tour of just kind of cemeteries, really, to be quite honest. But
it says a lot about your personality, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I'm kind of involved with a whole bunch of horror people, and it's really cool. I've got such a cool bunch of friends, and we're all into horror stuff, and we go all around the country looking at kind of film locations and kind of Wicker Man stuff. And yeah,
Are you one of those YouTubers that go into like haunted houses and you stay the night and you just film everything?
No. No. That's the weird thing is I don't believe in ghosts at all. So yeah, haunted houses will be completely lost on me, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'm a big horror movie fan of the classic stuff.
Cool. So still talking about the gigging front then, have you had opportunities to like go to Europe?
Somebody did ask.
Yeah, there was one, wasn't there?
Yeah, was it Normandy or something like that?
Somewhere like that, yeah.
I've got to remind him. I've got to remind him about this. And there's the whole passport thing now, which is a bit tricky.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. Like we talk about Bloodstock and things. I think UK punters are beginning to realise that there's actually a very, very strong scene in the UK. Because like Bloodstock and things like that, all the European and American acts were cancelled and all the rest of it, and it was all UK bands, and it was still sold out, obviously, and people were just realising that the UK does actually have a really, really strong metal scene. I was down in Manchester in October for a festival for 3 days, and it was packed. I think before COVID, you could go to a local show and there could be 30 people there, 50 people there, but I mean, there was a sold out show last night in Glasgow. At the audio, so I think people are just returning to gigs. So
yeah, that was a massive scene in England, and I think there's so many good bands out there. Like just in Essex alone, there's like so many bands coming out, and some real like quality bands as well. But yeah, we find down here is we need to get further up north because that's where the scene is. There's just not really a scene down here. Yeah, like we've met bands from Bradford, and they were like, oh, can we come down? And we'd love to have them down, but there just isn't the scene. Whereas up there and like towards Manchester and stuff, there's just people are out all the time. They just want to be out playing and want to be out, going to see bands play, but not so much down here. I don't know why.
So what are the venues like in Essex? Are there clubs and stuff like that? Are there good
there are some good ones. I think we've probably played most of them actually. But yeah, there's some good ones here. There's a great place here in Colchester called Coda, and we played there in January, and we were headlining, and we had no idea how the gig was going to go, and the place was rammed all night and people had such a great time. So for our first gig this year, that was a really good one. But we've done a lot of the venues around here.
Suffolk's good, isn't it? Suffolk's really good for like. Yeah. Suffolk's it's really weird. You just go across into Suffolk, and we know a few promoters, and they put on a lot of gigs, and they're really passionate about putting on gigs. And the Suffolk guys, it's just like they just love it. They'll turn up. They don't care who you are, and they just have a great time.
Good.
We did a gig in Ipswich with some kind of extreme metal bands, and we weren't sure how we were going to go down, and the crowd just danced and moshed about to everything, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much 18 months without a gig and stuff like that. It's just great to see. But you talked about that gig in January in Colchester, and it was sold out and all the rest of it. Who made the most mistakes?
I don't know. Do we make mistakes?
Well,
we hide mistakes.
Yeah. No one's listening to me play anyway, so I can do what I want. So
I've got a funny feeling that nobody tells Charlie you made the mistake in that riff, by the way. Probably smack you over the head with the guitar.
Yeah. I probably am the one that makes the most mistakes, actually. But yeah, I hide it well.
So who do
my guitar breaks.
So who do you actually rehearse, and who do you record your songs in? How often are you actually meeting up now that you can?
Now this has become a problem because of lockdown. We had a place here in Colchester that we rehearsed, and because of COVID, it had to shut. So So there's basically 3 kind of rehearsal studios that we try to get to, but they're always booked up.
Yeah.
And that's become a major problem. And we're now, as a band, our drummer moved quite a way away. So we're just trying to find the easiest places for us to get to at the times that we can get to them. And once life gets in the way a little bit, we struggle to kind of get a regular pattern going. But yeah, but playing gigs helps, because it's pretty much we're playing kind of every week. So that's pretty cool. But it's quite tough at the moment for rehearsal studios.
Yeah. No, cool. Thanks very much for that. That's brilliant. Thanks very much for that, guys. So, as it's been a while for you to release anything music-wise in the last couple of years, now that you've got new songs, have you already started thinking about the visual side of the EP? And are you thinking of doing releasing a couple of videos to go with the release? I thought that was a difficult question. I did.
Yeah, I think we know a few people that sort of do music video production and stuff, and a lot of our friends have done it. And it is something that I kind of would like to definitely pursue, because I think it could add a lot to the music. But yeah, it's going to be definitely a discussion in the future.
Yeah,
especially with the new songs, we could do something with. That'd be good.
So who's got the creative mind? Who's the person that comes up with the ideas for the videos, where it's going to be set or whatever like that, and then you get people out to do the video for you? But who's got ideas this is what I want in the video?
I think I do a lot of the kind of visual logo-y kind of photo stuff. When we did Alpha Kings, I did the cover and the back cover for that. Mike is pretty good with the videos, even though last year his idea for Alpha Kings we weren't so sure of.
So Charlie's face.
Yeah, he came up with an idea that we were all just like, oh, I don't know how this is going to come across. So it took a while, but we said, Mike, we're not doing that. So he came up with an entirely different thing, which he did so well, and it's a great video. And and we spent absolutely no money on it whatsoever, which was a bonus.
That's a bonus, yeah.
But yeah, I was tinkering around with a cover idea for the new EP last week.
Have you told your idea to the rest of your bandmates, or are you keeping it to yourself?
No, because it's pretty crap.
That's the end of that one. That's the end of that idea. I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it is.
So it's back to the drawing board then.
Yeah, definitely. But I do a lot of the stuff on the computer, tinkering around with all our logos and kind of pictures. So yeah.
I definitely think that I would definitely think that you've got to do at least one video with a new EP and stuff like that, because I was looking on YouTube in your channel and things like that, and you do have a couple of videos, but they're kind of sparsed out. So maybe with this new release coming out, it's again keeping your name out there and getting you in a different format. So
yeah, I think we were looking into doing a proper video, weren't we, Charlie? Kind of finding a cool location and doing a kind of performance thing there. Didn't it involve some sort of dungeon or some kind of war
sort of fort, or something like a fort, wasn't it? That it's local to us, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty freaky, and we were going to do that. But I'm not great. I don't like having a picture taken. The thought of video just freaks me out.
Well, I was going to say,
Ricky, with regards to the visual aspect of Alpha Kings, there was a prime influence on the cover that I did, and it was actually the band The Almighty.
Ah, yes.
When they released their debut album, they just had the logo in the center.
Yeah,
and they had a black cover.
Love.
Yeah, so I took a picture of my leather jacket and put our logo over the top of it, in a kind of homage to The Almighty, which was a band that I absolutely adored back in the day. Yeah. So there was a lot of influence on that one.
Yeah, even to this day, I still play Wild and Wonderful sometimes, so yeah. Brilliant Glasgow band.
And weirdly enough, I absolutely idolised Ricky Warwick and his time in The Almighty. And about 10 years ago, he came around my brother's house and he played us. He spent all afternoon with us playing us acoustic guitar in my brother's living room.
Wow.
And that was really cool. And we drove him back to the train station. He did a gig in London. And it was really cool.
That's a
Such
claim
a
to
great
fame.
guy.
Claim to fame. I was going to say regarding your video being in the dungeon and also touring up in Scotland, you can play Edinburgh, but during the day you can go to the Edinburgh dungeons, record a video, and then play your gig at night. There you go, sorted.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Yeah. I've been underneath Edinburgh a few times, and there's some cool. There'd be some cool locations there.
So you've been in the gutter? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I've definitely been in the gutter in Edinburgh.
Yeah. I've only got a couple more questions, guys, but thanks for your time tonight and everything. So, before the internet, then magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends, but now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion's been lost, or do you think that the internet's been a good thing for music and a good thing for Goat Monsoon?
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, obviously, when I first started playing in bands, there just wasn't this sort of social media aspect. So it was harder, but then you communicated more direct with people. Yeah. You had no other choice. And I think people we like buying, I was really into buying like Terrorizer and Kerrang and Metal Hammer. So I don't do that as much now, which is a shame because I like to have an actual copy of a magazine. And I used to cut them up and just save them all in my lyric books. And so I used to love doing all of that kind of thing. So I kind of miss that. But then at the same time, for just meeting people, I've met so many people since through the internet that I wouldn't have had that opportunity to do before through social media. So I think there's definitely a place for both.
Yeah. Your attic must be full of your lyric books. If you're if you're talking about Terrorizer and stuff like that, because I think that's, I don't know, 2000 or something like that. So you must be like, so what other bands did you actually play in?
I played in a band. My first band I played in, we're called A Frame, and we're actually really good. We just rehearsed all the time. And we originally played without a drummer, so we had a program drums, and then we just got a drummer in that's in Goat Monsoon now, Lewis, and he was 13. He was really young, but he was this kick-ass drummer. So we got him in, and he just worked with us. And then when that broke up, I was in a couple more bands with my brother. My brother plays guitar as well. And then, I didn't do it for a while. I kind of decided I wasn't going to play anymore. I'd had enough. Didn't want to play bass anymore. And then I basically asked a friend if they wanted to like jam with me. And he said, oh, yeah, definitely. And then he got back to me and he said, I can't, but my friend can. And we got together and he knew all the other guys. And we got together, tried loads of drummers out. And then I saw Lewis, the drummer that we have now, and I said, oh, look, we've got this band and it's really good. And his first gig was supporting Orange Goblin.
Wow, no pressure.
Wow.
He thought that was going to be like every week. And I was like, no, that really is like a one-off.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I think our 10th gig that we ever played was supporting Paradise Lost. So we made quite a lot of headway.
I mean, getting an opportunity to speak to somebody like Nick Holmes or Greg McIntosh as well, that must have been huge.
Now, one of the best moments, because for me, I'm a big Paradise Lost fan, and
your wall never gave that away.
And I actually got that as a present from somebody, so that's he turned up at a gig with it, and that was just so cool. But what was really nice is we played with Paradise Lost, and it was a fantastic night all round. We did really well. We went down really well. PL were great, as they normally are. Yep. But as I approached each band member, they recognised me from when I met them before, which was about 6 years previously. And I went up to Erin Eady at the gig, and I went, hi, Erin, just want to introduce myself. We're playing, we're supporting you tonight. And he looked at me and went, we've met before, haven't we? I went, yeah, we have actually. And Nick Holmes looked at me and he went, you look vaguely familiar. They were all such nice guys. Yeah. And Greg and Nick are probably the funniest people I've ever met.
Oh, it looks as if we've lost Charlie, but Charlie will come back. Charlie come back, but it's your turn to think about the internet. Then, what do you think about the passion?
The passion is definitely there. The only problem is it's kind of oversaturated at some points.
Yeah.
So even though there's loads of people doing good stuff, not everything has the kind of reach that a traditional magazine would have. I mean, actually, last year we signed to a record company.
Excellent.
And but the thing is, it was just kind of a guy promoting his stuff online. Wasn't really a record company at all. So once we kind of agreed to work with them, it just went absolutely nowhere. And then they stopped promoting us just out of the blue, and we all just kind of disintegrated with it. And so there's a lot of stuff out there, but it's just trying to pick through what is worth your time to sort of get involved with. Because we've been on lots of radio shows and done loads of stuff, and you just got to try and get the ones with the most reach. I mean, with you guys, you guys featured us at Bloodstock and stuff, so we're know more than happy to be doing this. But you've just got to pick the things that are a good way of getting the band across, I guess.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, thanks a lot for that, guys. There's a lot of good opinions there, but I must be well, I mean, back in the day, like tape trading, you would see the article in the magazine and send £1. You would send £1 note in an envelope, and a couple of days later, you get a cassette back through the door, and you'd listen to it, and you'd go, don't know if I like it. But because you've invested in it, you would listen to it again and again, and then make a fair judgment. Whereas now, I think you go into Spotify, whatever like that, and you press play, 10 seconds, that's shit. Instantly dismiss the band, because you know that there's another million bands out there doing similar things, and it's so hard for you to be unique now. But it must also be so pleasing for you guys to find out that you've got bands in Venezuela and Timbuktu and the Philippines and stuff like that, because you can get that information readily available for you. But I definitely think it's a double-edged sword.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've always been into physical media. Every band and every album that I like, I've got a physical copy of it, whether it's vinyl or CD. And there was a time a few years back that I was actually reviewing albums for a website, and each MP3 that I was sent that I actually liked, I went out and bought the CD or the vinyl. And because, as you say, if you've spent some money on it, if you give something a first listen and you go, I'm not so sure, but I spent some money on it, so I'll give it another listen, and you get to like it.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you say, with the Spotify, people can make a choice straight away. And it's weird for us selling merchandise, because all our t-shirts sell out really well. And we've still got CDs that we've got a bunch of CDs. We go, why does nobody buy the CDs? But they've possibly got it. Yeah, in whatever various format. So that's kind of strange. But
so where have you found out that you've got fans from?
Loads of fans in Mexico, didn't we?
Yeah, we got a lot of fans in Mexico. I think it goes along with the goat thing.
So that's the thing as well. I mean, I do my radio show on a Thursday night, 8 to 11, just a wee plug there, for extreme metal. And Mexico seems to be, it's on my list, of listeners. I'm like, what? So it's just surprising the reach that you can get. Listen to some stupid wee Scottish guy in his man cave playing tunes. But if you play good music, then people will listen.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I've only got one last question for you, and I'll probably need to start another 40-minute video, because I'm going to ask you what instruments you use, what your instruments you're going to use for this recording then in June, and what's your setup, what's your amps and things like that. So we may as well start off with yourself, Stu, since you're in the top left.
This will probably be quite easy because I'm sitting amongst them all. I think for the new EP, I'll be using that double bass over there.
Wow. Can you show us it? Is it?
I'm not carrying that, Stu. I'm not carrying your stuff.
Wow, that's really cool. So what made you get a bass like that then?
I was bought one by my wife.
Do you think she was trying to get you away from the stoner metal scene and get you to play classical? It's a lot softer. It's much nicer.
No, she just loves me. At the time, I'm still into it. I'm a massive psychobilly and rockabilly fan.
Yeah.
And I was doing a psychobilly radio show. And there was a period of time where I just listened to psychobilly non-stop. And I DJ'd it. I went around clubs doing psychobilly. Did some London stuff, did some stuff in Whitby. And so psychobilly was my thing. So my wife bought me that. But it probably won't make it onto a Goat Monsoon.
So what about pedals? Do you have any pedals and what amps do you use?
Oh, it's probably not a good question to ask me.
I'm getting started.
Yeah, I've just recently bought a fantastic pedal. I was up in Whitby last year. I know the people in the band Godfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're from Halifax, and Hamish and their bass player. I was talking to them, and they had such a great live sound. And I said to their bass player Bob, I said, "I'm just in awe of your tone. You know, how did you get that?" And he told me what pedal that he was using, and he said it's not cheap. And he told me about it, and I bought one the very next day, and it's a Steve Harris Sans amp pedal.
Wow. And it wasn't cheap either, was it?
It was a few £100, but it's incredible. And it essentially gives me the sound that I've always wanted.
Something tells me, Charlie, that he's want to play a couple of bass solos in this EP, you know, so he can get the use out of the pedal. Thanks very much for that, Stu. What about yourself, Charlie? What have you got then? What are you going to use for the recording?
I have a really, really basic setup. I just actually bought myself a pedal board, and I don't know why, because I've got like 2 pedals, but that's what I want to do when I get some more pedals. But I use Epiphone just because I can't afford Gibsons. So Gibson, if you want to give me some guitars, that'd be great. But yeah, I use Epiphones, and they're really good. And apart from when it fell apart the other day at the London gig, but that was my fault because I'm heavy-handed. But yeah, I use that. I think with the new one, we got a new song, and I'm using a wah, just using Crybaby pedal at the beginning of that, which is unusual for me because I don't really use pedals that much. And I started using orange amps just because I got bought one and it's lovely. But I had a Laney valve state, which was my pride and joy. But the boys in the band were like, if you use that again, you can carry it, because it weighed, it was a workout just carrying it. And it did start to get a bit old, and I got it reconditioned and it just wasn't quite the same. So yeah, I've been using an Orange Crush Pro 120, which is just a solid state. And yeah, just my Epiphone and whatever. I mean, like I say, we're not sure how the process with recording. So I think it's going to be live, so I'll be using my own stuff, probably going for a Marshall cab.
What do you tune it to? Tune your guitar to?
We tunes drop D, but I've got 4 guitars. They're all tuned to different tunings because I play different things in different like bands and stuff. I'm not in loads of bands, but I'm in another little side project, and that's in drop C. And I wanted to learn someone's songs, so I bought another guitar and dropped it to A. So I'm not fussy.
Yeah. So I take it when you go on, you're going to play a couple of gigs together, then do you always take 2 or 3 guitars with you?
That would be sensible, but I don't.
So what do you do when you break a string then?
Panic.
It hasn't happened, has it? I think the closest that actually came to was Ben nearly broke a string in the first song when we played Bloodstock.
Right.
Because I think he caught a bracelet that he was wearing on his guitar, and that was a worry, but thankfully it turned out okay. But I just mentioned that I recently bought a Ernie Ball Music Man bass, which I'm using at the moment, which is over here somewhere. So nice. I love those, and I love the Ernie Ball stuff, the strings and leads. So Ernie Ball endorsement would be great.
You're both very good at this endorsement shit. Yeah, you're both very good. So just finally, Charlie, is it a 6 or 7 string guitar you're going to use?
6 string, yeah. Just
had you ever thought about 7?
SG. My brother had a 7 string, but I don't know, because I think it's good if you like varying your tunings, but because we play drop D for everything, it's just easy for me to use my 6 string. But we did talk about playing in different tunings recently, and Ben, our guitarist, bought this pedal that does all clever stuff, so he doesn't have to change his guitar.
Yeah,
but I'm not that clever. I'll just get another guitar. But yeah, we did a gig recently. It was actually the one in London, and just as I went on, I plugged my guitar in, unplugged the jack, and the whole jack socket went inside my guitar. And I went up to Ben and just said, something really bad's happened, which is something regular that I do before a gig. And he just thought, oh, for God's sake, what now? What's she done now? And he looked and he was like, oh shit, okay, anyone got a screwdriver? So we had to get the back off the guitar, push it back through, and then it lasted the gig. But yeah, it was pretty tense. We had a 20-minute changeover, and I think we took 25 minutes. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We did a gig in Norwich, and during one of the songs, my bass went out completely, and I couldn't work out why. I was checking everything. However, what I'd actually done is I'd actually switched off my own pedal, which is why I don't normally go for pedals. Charlie, have you ever thought about getting a new bassist? It just seems to be a liability.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right, listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. So I was going to say, like, what's next for Goat Monsoon, but it's just really get the EP done and dusted. You think you're going to do it over 2 days, or would you actually like to do it over 2 days, one weekend, 2 days the following weekend, or do you think you'll get it all done in 2 days?
Knowing how the producer works, he is a perfectionist. So if it didn't happen in the 2 days, we would definitely be going back. Just to get it perfect, because he's really he wouldn't want it released if it wasn't 100% right. So yeah, it could develop into more days, but we're doing 2 days in a row at the moment just because of time constraints and stuff with other I take it
he's like that because it's his name that's on the CD as well, you know, like produced by or mixed by or whatever like that, so he wants it right. So see what happens, you know, on your 2 days. If you remember your lines and your riffs and all the rest of it and the solos, I'm sure you'll be fine. But like I said, we do Moshville Radio, so whenever you've got a song ready that you want us to promote from the new EP, just get in touch with me and I'll put it on the playlist. Get DJs to play it as well live. So we'll definitely do a bit for Goat Monsoon. This will go on Moshville Times. It'll go on my page as well, so we'll definitely do a bit. And can I say it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you?
Cool. Yeah, you too, Ricky. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
And remember Scotland. It is on the map. So
yeah. We'll get there.
Good stuff. Right, thanks a lot, guys, and I wish you guys all the best.
Cool.
Right, cheers.